So, I wanted to come on here because I wanted to express and talk about, how this sentencing hearing went. I know it's been a couple months, but, I had to think about some stuff. And I don't really talk too much. I don't really post a lot of videos because, I don't feel like fighting with anybody over this case, the Idaho 4 case, because, I know everybody has their own opinions, and I have my own opinion, and I really don't care what anybody says, because I'm going to believe what I want to believe, and it's my right to believe whatever I want to believe. It's their right to believe whatever they want to believe, but, there's a lot of inconsistencies with this case, and I have a lot of issues with this case. So I'm just going to go from what Mr. Thompson said. And he said that he cannot put Bryan at the scene of the crime. And that, for me, gives a lot of problems. I have a lot of problems with that. I have a lot of problems with, when the documents came out, with the last batch of documents, they said the skin cells or the DNA, the touch DNA on the knife sheath that's on the button snap. That's the only DNA that they have of Bryan's there. There's no other DNA of his in that house. There's unknown DNA, but it's not his. There's unknown DNA on the knife sheath, but it's not his. That's mixed with the victim's DNA. There's unknown DNA on the banister. There's unknown DNA in the glove. Unknown DNA underneath the Maddie's fingernails. But the only DNA of Bryan's is on the button snap of the knife sheath. And he's the only one that's convicted of this crime. Also, there's no DNA in his car, apartment, office, and at his parents' house. They don't have a murder weapon. They can't even place his phone at that house. And there's towers there. The only thing they can say is they can place his car near the house. But, I'm sorry, I've seen the videos. You can't even say it's his car because the car is fuzzy. There's no license plate. They'll say it's 100 feet away from the house, which actually ends up being 0.60 miles away from the house, which is actually, if you convert that, 0.60 is actually 10 blocks away from the house. 10 blocks is a long walk. It's like a 15-minute walk. You can go calculate that because I already did. I don't know how Mr. Thompson can go and convict this guy or press charges against this guy with just skin cells on the sheath and do not have a murder weapon. And I know that they looked, because he said that they looked all over the place. That's what, when they did the press conference. I don't know why the families do not have questions about that. With everything that's coming out now, with all the documents, I still have questions. I don't know why they did not test the other DNA that was at the house. I don't know why they did not test it. I don't know why Bryan took the plea deal. But I don't think it's because his sister was on the witness list. It's not because of that. It's because the judge was so biased. That's the reason why I think he took the plea deal. Because every time his defense attorneys tried to put a motion in, it was denied. That's the reason. And because Mr. Thompson had to go get the U.S. the state attorney general, because he was fired from his position to help him with this case, because they couldn't do it on his own. Because the state, or Mr. Thompson, knew that if they brought it to trial, that they probably would have lost. Yeah. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. And I think that they would have lost. Because a death penalty case is a very, 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 you gotta make sure you have all the burden of proof there. You have to make sure you have a lot of burden of proof. And then the only thing they had was the skin cells on the knife sheath. And that's it. That's all you had. 8 hours to call 911. And then you had the roommates texting each other. They heard what was going on upstairs. They heard those screams and did nothing. Nothing. And I don't want anybody to say, oh, this and this and this. And I don't care. I don't care. Don't come at me. I don't care. I don't care. I am a mother too. My kids, my daughter is their age or was their age. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. My daughter knows right and wrong. If she heard noises like that, she would have been immediately calling 911. Even if she was drunk or not, or she was drinking, or there was booze or whatever, she would have called 911. Okay, there's no excuses for that. Those girls heard everything going on in that house. Because if you have cameras outside hearing that stuff going on, those girls heard everything inside that house and did nothing. Did nothing. Oh, and they don't get charges pressed against them. They should have the charges pressed against them. Yes. And I'll say, I don't care. Period. That's my opinion. Sorry. But yeah, this is my opinion. I have a lot of issues with this case, and you guys say that everybody's saying, oh, he's guilty. Just because he took a plea doesn't mean he's guilty, or he might have pled guilty doesn't mean he's factually guilty, because everything in this case, everything that you can see right now is actually not factually saying he's guilty, if you know what I mean. And everything that's coming out, and then people will come out and say, oh, well, try to take your eyes away from what is coming out and make you look somewhere else, so you don't see what's really coming out in the documents. Okay, so and just to clear this up, Ann Taylor is still his lawyer. Okay, Ann Taylor is still his lawyer. She will continue to be his lawyer. All right. Period. And a part of the plea deal, and if you read the paperwork, the reason why she's objecting to this interest of whatever, it was a part of the plea deal. So now the prosecutor's asking for this interest to be added on, and he's breaking the plea deal. All right. So yeah, and just to clear everything up as well, if you go back to the hearings for when the leak was going on, the defense didn't leak anything. It was the state. All right, so go back and watch those hearings, Olivia. Okay, watch those hearings. It was not the defense, it was the state. So Mr. Thompson is saying it was the defense. It was not the defense, it was the state. The state had access to Bryan's phone. That's why they did not want to give Bryan's phone to the defense, okay? It's in the paperwork. It's in all those documents, so read the documents. For the defense side, not just the state. For the defense side. Do me that favor. Period. Because I don't like to come on here and correct anybody, all right? I don't like to come on here and be smart-assed with anybody. All right? I don't like that. I do my research. All right? If I get something wrong and I go back, I will correct myself. All right, but my time's up, so I'm going to go. I'll talk to you later.